elevation. Tudo spoon to be para la discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Vonjema, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. What I want? This one you got today.
Spoon TV.
This one you got today.
Spoon TV. Spoon Spoon Entertainment. On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be Spoon television.
Down coming with the spoon, and your boy right at the south and back. Charges on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Vonjema, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. What I want? Yes, what you got today?
School TV. School.
Yes, what you got today?
School. School TV. School. School TV. School entertainment. To the school to get your information. To the school to be part School television.
A special one from the CEO, Stan Tony with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
To the school to get your information. To the school to be part of our discussion. School television. School radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. The children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Fonjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep on gradually, my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today?
School TV. School.
Yes, what you got today?
School TV. School.
A special one from the CEO, Stan Tony with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
To the school to get your information. To the school to be part of our discussion. School television. School radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. The children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happened in the ministry to spoon? Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep on congratulate my brother to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, 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 kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today?
Spoon TV. Spoon.
Yes, what you got today?
Spoon. Spoon TV. Spoon. Spoon TV. Spoon Entertainment.
Go to there. Go to there.
On the spoon.
Yes, what you
Information. On the spoon.
A special one from the CEOs, Dan Cullen with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the South Band. Charges on the beat.
On the spoon. To get your information. To the spoon. To be part of our discussion. Spoon. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moreover, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep on congratulate my brother to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon.
Hello, welcome to the program Spoon Talk. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are. Liberia's premium program, the biggest program in the Republic of Liberia, the most watched program in Liberia. Good evening, Jeans. Jeans, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
What? Yeah, yes, sir. Good evening, Honorable Kev. Sir, how are you, sir? I think Kev is on the phone. Baron, how you do?
Well, Honorable Jeans, good day, Flomo. I'm okay.
How did you call me?
Honorable Jeans, good day, Flomo. Have a worried day.
You need serious prayer.
Yes, how is it? Okay.
That we are on. And the man who get there if we call president at his will. I make it get Venana and call president. We are on the show.
Yeah, guys. How you guys doing? You guys can, James. I
Yes,
think you
sir.
can read names. Can you read the names, please? How you guys doing?
Which names?
Welcome our people.
Oh,
I'm coming. But okay, all right, Dr. Keverson. All right. So Barry, you can give us update, and then after we can welcome few of our guys who are on. These are the most important people who are making the show. Good evening, Honorable Gray.
How are you, my brother?
Connor, okay, Honorable Dr. Connor Gray. How you doing?
I'm okay. You can hear me, right?
yes,
Very
you're
loud
live.
and clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't be
I'm
seeing
okay,
your
my
face every day you
brother.
wake up.
It's pleasure to be here. So you still out there in is that are you somewhere in Scandinavia?
In Poland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Poland was an Axis nation to Russia.
Yeah. They used to be together, but
Yeah.
at the end they had to separate.
Yeah.
Around
Back
that
to
stuff.
Harvard. Yeah.
But they are still neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though policy wise, I don't think they see eye to eye these days
No.
because Portland is pro Ukraine,
Yeah.
and that tells me they're anti left of Russia.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how is it there? You speak Polish?
No. I just come in. Maybe I will speak Polish.
A little bit. It's a beautiful language, though.
Yeah, at least I can try to tell somebody.
No, it's not difficult once you live there.
Yeah.
I think Polish is even easier than Russian.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
It would definitely take the intervention of God before James Good Flomo would land that.
No, James is a smart guy. Yeah.
All
Even
right.
anybody,
Another
man,
you.
if
you.
if that's what it takes to survive, then Mr. Flomo will survive there.
Tell him again. Yeah, Baron, go ahead. Oh,
Well, okay.
Honorable Salamantu. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you? How's everybody doing?
We are okay.
Good. Brother Kev? How you
Yeah, how you
doing?
doing, Salamanca? How are you?
I'm okay.
How you guys?
Yeah,
So, James, can I go ahead?
Yeah,
To
go
give
ahead.
you
Give us
update?
update. Kev is in control now.
All right.
Yeah,
So, Kev,
I'm sorry, guys. I was having some phone calls.
You are on the line with the president.
No, that's not
okay.
true. Yeah, so
So,
what's the latest today?
well, so these are some of the trending issues we have in the country. During Liberia's 66th Armed Forces Day celebration, which was held on Saturday, the 11th of February, the defense minister of the Republic of Liberia, General Daniel Ziagan, he warned who will be troublemaker that the armed forces will maintain the peace and security of our country and would not tolerate an act of insurrection, and therefore the will of the Liberian people will be heard and protected by the military, by the armed forces of Liberia. So he made that identical statement over the weekend. Some people, his critics, they have branded his, outbursts or wars as a dictatorial statement made against the people of Liberia, because the Constitution gives the people the legitimate right to peacefully assemble if they are aggrieved, you know. So he made that statement over the weekend that look, the military, the army, the armed forces of Liberia will maintain the peace and security of the country, no matter who you are, whether you are from the CDC or the Unity Party or the All Liberian Party or the ANC. The fact that you come on the street of Monrovia, you are at liberty to do that, but to cause instability, the military will go after you. Yes, and he said that. So another one again, Senator Prince Johnson, you know, it went viral on Facebook when he took to Facebook telling the Liberian people that intellectually he was going to fire. Intellectually, he was going to fire President George Weah. And he had the media trooped in at his church, Rebian ELBC, the state radio. And disappointingly, the senator said, look, if you people here, you're here to come here bad thing about the president, I will not say it. In fact, ECOWAS leaders have reached out to me to stand down on President George Weah. Those are the exact words of Senator Prince Johnson. He made those statements on Sunday. So the critical thing here is, why is it that the ECOWAS, as an independent body, has not come up, you know, to make a disclaimer about the senator's accusation, because ECOWAS should be an independent body. The statement that was made by Senator Prince Johnson has further indicted ECOWAS. While there is a beef, an intellectual war of wars between the senator and that of the CDC, why would ECOWAS be meddling into the affairs of Liberia? So the political pundits are asking questions since the senator made those statements. Why is it that ECOWAS has not condemned or to verify what the senator said? Lastly, yesterday, the president of the Republic of Liberia, he was endorsed by some people under the banner Muslim for the re-election of President George Weah. That program was held at the ministerial complex, where the president, he threw jabs at the opposition bloc. And the video clip, Jeans Good Flomo, he has that. So basically, gentlemen, that's some of the updates. You know, that's some of the trending news in the country, ranging from the defense minister, the president, and that of Senator Prince Johnson implicating ECOWAS into our body politics. So I will stop right here.
Okay, I listened to you. I saw some of your and posts that you were angry on Facebook. But our guest, I can see our guest here at the back. We'll soon bring him on. But there's a role for ECOWAS in the ECOWAS country. So if you study the role of ECOWAS, what ECOWAS did, the role that they play in Liberia, you will understand why Prince Johnson and ECOWAS. So you should first understand ECOWAS role in the ECOWAS state. Even other countries, Gambia, all these other places, when opposition go against each other, they step in. Liberia is not the first place. So understand the role of ECOWAS before you blast at ECOWAS. So we don't want to say that. Before the guests come in, let's go around. Let me bring in Colonel and Remy Gray to say one or two words concerning the what trending news.
Colonel Gray?
Gentlemen, I hope I'm on now clearly. And regarding the armed forces of Liberia, of course, Daniel Ziankan was well within his constitutional role to be able to advise that would be troublemaker, you understand, would be pursued. And he spoke what normally a national security individual in charge would say. Maybe it's an affront to certain people, but his constitutional role is to be able to man the peace and endure within the safety and well-being of our nation as a country. That's what most people will at least wish for. Um, and I don't see why that should provoke any aggression in our society. Nobody will want anybody going vandalizing the little bit people have acquired over the years since we started being peaceful. But equally so, I think people have the right to exercise their own will, their freedom, fundamentally. That's one way. And regarding ECOWAS, I think I agree with Kev. ECOWAS is well within even the Mano River Basin, the little pact we have there with three other nations, now including the Ivory Coast. Um, whatever effect Liberia has, the spillover effect. And so therefore, if Liberia become an unrestful place, definitely it will send refugees across the border, and that can affect the economy as well. And so I agree with Kev on that note that they have a mandate to venture into something that may result into conflict. I did not like the idea that people are using the pulpit, especially individuals who are not ordained to preach the word of God or to impact the word of God in people, because one has to be ordained. It's like you have a man performing surgery who has not gone through medical training. That's how that is. And so therefore the church, the pulpit, is
Just,
used for
just,
the
just
wrong
roughly
people.
30 seconds, gonna pray because we have the
30
guests.
seconds, okay. I'll end it there. I'll leave it
Elaine,
there.
okay. Okay, I wanted to give welcome Honorable Fagon. I want to give Solomon to, I don't know if you guys can use 30 seconds because the guest is in the back. And bring, matter of fact, I'm going to bring the guest in the back to just listen to you guys, and then we continue.
Rose Gray.
Oh, okay, there's a noise. It's coming from you, Musa.
No.
Okay, but it's gone now. Okay, let's go. Welcome to the show, Musa Ability. Musa Ability is here to talk about opposition unity. If there's opposition unity on what's happening, so he's here to talk about it. Oh, yeah, he here to talk about it. So at this moment, I'm going to go and give 30 seconds to Salamatu and 30 seconds to Fagon to talk about the trending news today, and then we'll come to you, Musa, to talk about the opposition unity. Salamatu.
Okay, so once again, good afternoon to everybody. Glad to have you here, Chairman, on the show today. And when the Minister of Defense spoke, I don't think anybody should be taking it so personal. He's doing his job. We all know what has happened in the past during elections. It's only fair that he continues to warn the Liberian people that we should be aiming for a peaceful election. I'm sure we're going to hear this not only from him. We're going to start hearing this a lot from our partners. We're going to start hearing this from ECOWAS. ECOWAS has their hands full this year. We have 2 or 3 elections this year in the region. So, and like Mr. Gray said, anything that happens in one of our countries, it usually spills over to the other country. So it doesn't hurt that we are reminded consistently that we need to have a peaceful elections. I don't think anybody should be taking it personal. I don't think anybody should make a big deal out of it. I think people should take the message, go back to their group, and relay the message to their group. I just hope with this message that, you know, whatever the consequences are for people who misbehave, it should be across the board and not apply to maybe just one party. I think that may be the only concern we should have, that it should be fair across the board. But it doesn't hurt for us to be reminded that we need to have a peaceful election.
Fagon?
Well, I'm not going to be as worried as anyone concerning the remarks by the defense minister or the past remarks by the chief of staff. They never said they would do anything against one particular person. Instead, they said they will try to uphold the peace that we all have struggled for. And I think everyone should embrace that. Having said that, I'll be more concerned with the Attorney General and Justice Minister of the Republic of Liberia admitting that it is wrong for the Monrovia City Police to be brandishing weapons. I mean, automatic weapons that have the potential to kill a lot of people when the statute does not provide for that. He promised to look into it and make sure that it does not continue. But it's been 5 years now since they've been brandishing those weapons. I'm more concerned about SECO, the company building the road from Ganta to Saclay. I never knew they had that much equipment in the country. I mean, a whole village full of equipment. They just packed all the equipments and said that the government have not lived up to their side of the bargain. Therefore, if they didn't hear from the government in the next couple of days, they will be leaving. And that's the company building the road between Saclay and Ganta. Those are the things that concern me, things that I can look at and we all sit on the platform and find a solution to. Not somebody fighting for all of us, then we take offense to the person saying we have to maintain the peace. No, I want to look at the company leaving Ganta to Saclay Road like that right now. I want to look at city police. What are they doing with AK-47s and M16s? You know, and those are the things that bother me. And I think the military should begin, if the chief of staff and the defense minister should liaise with the justice minister to make sure that a group that is not supposed to bear arms in the country does not carry the kind of weapons that they've been given.
Okay, I see Musa gone in the back, so we're gonna wait. But Fagon, what you made about Musa is back. Mr. Ability, you know, you're here today because of opposition unity. And let me ask you this first question. Is there opposition unity that include the Unity Party? Oh, Musa? Can you hear me, Musa?
He's muted.
You're muted. You're muted. Let me see.
Your microphone button down there may be red.
Okay. Is there any opposition unity, including the Unity Party?
You have to unmute me then.
Yeah, I did. Is there any opposition unity, including the Unity Party?
No, I'm not. It's not muted.
But you can hear me? You can hear me? You're not muted.
Of course. The Unity Party is an opposition. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. There's a delay. Go ahead. Yeah, there's a delay in there. The reason I'm asking that question because it's there's a lot of news flying out there that the Unity Party and the ANC are coming together. Matter of fact, some people say Mr. Cummings is going to be the VP, and they are talking. And Musa did some posts, so I want to ask him the question and see if any truth into that, because if the previous appearance on the show, Musa said that there's no opposition unity that Cummings will go as vice president. So we want to talk about that. But let me, before Musa come on, let me bring you in, Gray. I don't know if you heard some of those posting by other people on Facebook and all that about some unity. What you hearing? What are you hearing? Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. I will impress on you that it's also certain party intelligence that we will need to keep in place. Managing the opposition is a whole gamut by itself. It's not something that you can just fumble with and then come up with certain information that may have the propensity to, provoke some emotions. That said, I have some proximity to Mr. Cummings himself, and but if at all the opposition should be talking, especially with the kind of legal arrangements that have gone across, where one individual will leave or one party will leave a formal collaboration, and if we have those kinds of arrangement now in place separately, I think the only opposition unity they'll be talking about is for if there is a second round, somebody should, lend their support to the other. But otherwise, I don't see legally how it's going to work.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Musa. I asked you the question, but just do your opening comments and just.
You hearing me now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Yes, I think you asked whether Unity Party was involved. I say yes, they are opposition, and everyone in the opposition should be part of an opposition unity. It shouldn't have a limitation. It has to do with the opposition just having in common the government and with the sole intent of replacing and making sure that the government is not re-elected. I think that's the definition of opposition unity.
That's the definition of opposition unity. But let me ask you just straight. Any Mr. Cummings and Buckeye, any second or first Cummings going VP, because news flying out there that it struck a deal.
I think I'm beginning to feel that this information is either being deliberately perpetrated by element within the government or element in the opposition that don't want to have opposition unity. If something that is not happening and you are running with that, then it makes me to wonder. The CPP is the meaning of opposition unity. The name reflects opposition unity. We are committed to opposition unity, and that's the meaning of the CPP. And we will do everything to seek opposition unity. I think we have a disagreement on what do we mean by opposition unity. And I think that as long as we don't have a predefined methodology as to what we think is our version of opposition, I think we can sit on the table with everything open and look at the fact that, one, we put the country first. Two, we determine what quality of leaders are we looking for. And I have to emphasize on the word quality, because for us, qualitative leadership at this time is what the opposition should be seeking, because it is quantitative leadership that brought George Weah to power. We in the opposition cannot rely on the same thing to say we're going to replace George Weah. We do not intend to use things such as popularity. The CPP have proven that no matter who you put on the ticket, once the opposition get together and choose you, the Liberian people vote for you. That's why you have the senators that we elected in 2020. They didn't come there because the people want. They came there because the opposition united around them. And if we do it and put good leaders, not just as president, but as representatives and senators, the Liberian people will make the right decision. They've told us when we come together, they will stand with us, and we don't come together, they will not stand with us. We came together in 2020, they stood with us. We went apart in Lofa, we lost. So the examples and the reaction of the Liberian people has been clear. We just have to make sure that if we want to replace this government, competency, quality, leadership, legacy, credibility, history, performance, history, and other things have to be put into place so that we have a president that is ready to govern this country on day one.
Okay, Musa, you said everything is on the table. Is Mr. Cummings going as vice president of Buckeye, or Buckeye going as vice president on the table?
Look, first of all, that's the wrong way to go. It is if you make an opposition unity to mean the only thing that it should be is president and vice president, then you make the meaning of opposition unity to be that we are just about power and to grab power. It's not about that. We have to define the meaning of our relationship. We have to make sure that it reflects what the Liberian people want at this time. And then we have to make sure that it's something that we can sell to the Liberian people. So if you come to say Cummings should go as vice president, Baka should go as president, no. We need to define first and foremost what kind of leader we want, what kind of president or vice president we want. When we define that, whoever fits that bill, I think the opposition should unite around that person, and the great victory will come.
Okay.
Our position in the CPP has been very clear. We made it clear, we think that right now in Liberia, among those who want to be president, Alice Cummings is the most qualified. He has the quality to be president. He has the history. He has the performance history. He has what it takes to be president. What I have always not accepted is that we should go on the opposition table with a fixed mind. Let's relax. Let's calm down. Let's go around the table. Let's put Liberia first, and let's make decisions that will benefit our country. With that, everything must be on the table. It should not just be about Alice Cummings going as Joseph Boakai vice president. It should also be about Joseph Boakai giving Alice Cummings the chance to run and among other things, deciding who should be Alice Cummings running mate. That should be an option. Every option should be on the table. If you agree to sit with somebody on the table, everybody needs to be dignified. And then, Liberia first. Why do you want Joseph Boakai to be president? We should lay all of the reason, all of the quality of Joseph Boakai that we know and can prove, and we lay all of the quality of Alice Cummings that we know and can prove, the one that fits the bill to face our country. I think it will be easy to identify, and I think we should choose that person. And as far as the CPP is concerned, that is something. But to say that we should choose somebody simply because they are popular. You want to go into a popularity contest with George Weah? He became president for only one reason, popularity. You can't use that same language and that same word to compete against George Weah. You have to show the Liberian people that this person that you are presenting has other qualities. And Liberian people have proven to us that they don't care who we choose. Once we believe that that person is the right person as opposition and we get together to support that person, 2020 is the proof. So Delon is senator today, not because he was popular, because he tried to become a senator before. When everybody came together, we defeated CDC. We can do the same thing. We must do that with the kind of leader that we all believe that has satisfied a reasonable percentage of the requirement that we are looking for in a leader. Not necessary to say because the person is popular. When we as opposition unite, whoever we unite around, the Liberian people will go for that person. And that should not be faced.
Okay. Musa, let me go to Salamatu. Salamatu, you hear what Musa is saying. You can factor that in your question. He's saying that you cannot just come and collaborate together for the name's sake. You should have same goal. Look at your quality, and put everything on it and just, see if they can rally around. So for me, I think that's the best opposition person I ever see saying stuff that a lot of people miss. They want people to come together even though they don't have the same beliefs. And Musa is saying not come together because they want to come together. Ask your 2 questions and factor that into that.
Okay. Again, hello, Chairman. I honestly don't have a question because I am a member of the CPP from the LP wing. So, I mean, everything that the chairman is saying, I think we need to continue to repeat this, that this is not we are opposition, and we're trying to restore what we feel is not happening in the current government, the institutions. We're not just looking at a pretty face. We're not just looking at somebody who believe they're very, very popular. We're looking at somebody who can come on the job and do the job from day one. By the time they hit the ground, they hit the ground running. We're looking for a leader. We're also looking for somebody who is also a manager. We're looking for somebody who has the experience. So when we talk about, we support Mr. Cummings, this is part of the reasons why we support Mr. Cummings. We're not going to jump up one day and decide, because somebody said, you know what, we should come together, so therefore somebody should just go as the second or go as the first. We're talking about a platform here. We want to make sure whoever comes in, they have the experience. A lot of our institutions have been torn to pieces, been neglected. So this is not just about changing the face of the government. This is about focusing on how do we rebuild our institutions? How do we regain trust in the international community? How do we regain trust with the Liberian people? So, I don't have a question. I am in opposition who agrees with just about everything the chairman just said. So I will yield my time to one of the gentlemen.
Okay. Colonel Gray, you listen to what Musa is saying. You can ask your question and just we agree with what Musa is saying. You can ask him a question.
Chairman Bilty, firstly, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Colonel Gray.
It's utterly a pleasure, and I look forward to even working with you on a larger scale. We do have skills to bring in, both in all fair of our leadership. One of my concerns is expanding the opposition part to not only to go around to circle Unity Party. I consider Unity Party an X factor. If we're going to broaden our opposition base, especially the CPP, to make it very attractive, we must also begin to reach out I understand the talks currently going on with the CPP and Jeremiah Kuhn, for instance. Um, it's not yielding much gravitas as one may hope. What do you think about it?
No, I think as far as I'm concerned, we have reached out to the NDR and we've had discussions, not formal but very informal. We will continue to do that. The NDR has not showing any indication that it doesn't want to work with us. As far as we are concerned, they have formally informed the Liberian people that they are no longer part of the governing coalition, and therefore they are effectively an opposition party. And so we're talking to them, and we will ensure, as long as they're in the opposition, the opposition tent has to be one. And I agree with you to include other political parties, and we are definitely, I can assure you, in discussion and good discussion with the NDR.
Yeah. And there are other individuals, of course, who are loose cannons as well, who are extremely despondent and disillusioned with the ruling establishment of President Weir. You have somebody like Barney of Maryland County or the NPP, and also to include Alex Tyler of Balmy County. Of course, these individuals are their own agent within their own political, sphere, and so I believe reaching out to those individuals as well. That in my opinion is the definition of all option. Remain on the table.
Yes, you're right, and definitely there are talks going on at all these levels. Unfortunately, I don't want to give more detail than I can, but definitely, once you become an opposition, we have to talk to you, and we have to start learning not to fix our mind into something. I think what is clear to me is that the Liberian people want the opposition to unite. In that statement, they did not tell us that unity must be cast in stone with the name of a particular person or persons. So therefore, opposition unity can yield anything, and that the door must be open, the tent must be widened, and that definitely every member of the opposition is welcome. There are, I've always said, sometimes we spend a lot of time looking at the most important aspect of opposition unity. It makes us to lose sight on the smaller aspect that will strengthen our relationship and make the big things possible. For instance, uniting on issues coming out of the election commission, on issue of voter registration, scheduling, on issue of election commission, putting out a statement 5 days after CDC had a rally, even though they wrote a letter before CDC had a rally, pointing these things out together, agreeing on them, establishing a technical committee that we guard against election violence and other things, and agreeing on something. For instance, Monserrado. Monserrado is, if you want to break CDC, the place we need to break them is in Monserrado. We should consider, a single candidate there. If we can't get, if for now we cannot get a single candidate as president, we should start these smaller things. We should look at Lofa County, Bon County, counties where Grand Bassa County, Monserrado County, where we can unite and defeat the government, at least from the legislative seat. When you build those things and agree on those things, believe me, the thing that look impossible to you can happen. So we are looking at that. I can tell you, as a matter of fact, the United Nations and ECOWAS had been having meetings with the political parties, and this actually include the CDC. But when it came to position, when it came to us taking our position, we went with the Unity Party to sit down and come up with a single position on the issue of election violence and the Farmington Declaration in trying to re-sign it. We've been working with the Unity Party on that. So there are possibilities in making us to work together without looking at whether Alex Cummings should be on the head of the ticket or Joseph Boakai should be at the head of the ticket. When those smaller things are possible, when it is possible for us to have a technical team where we coordinate, for instance, our rally schedule, our intelligent gathering, or on security and other things, we will begin to share security information, different things on each other, so that we can guard each other against any nefarious activity of the government. Unity can be achieved. You always jump to the big things, and sometimes it gives you hard time. If you sit down and start thinking about the smaller things, by the time you realize that, oh, but this is possible, you know, that's what I think, and how we should do, and we will do that. We reached out to PLP, for instance. We believe me, there's no opposition party in Liberia that the CPP is now reaching out to as I speak to you. We are watching our 10, and we're being very aggressive. And we do not take one opposition party more or less important than the other. We treat them equally, and we treat them in the same, as aggressive as the other.
Okay. Mr. Fagon.
Well, it's great to be with you on the platform. Good evening to all again, and to you, Brother Musa Ability. I listened to you, and I enjoyed the fact that you're calling for opposition unity, and I think that's good enough for the Liberian people. But you said all options are on the table. But in your praise of Alexander Cummings, you said, and I quote, he's the most qualified, unquote. How do you go to a negotiation, someone would say? A person comes in front of you, let me just put it that way, and say, how do you come to a negotiation or trying to bring about unity? And you say this person is the most qualified amongst the candidates. That's what you said. But yes, this person have had international jobs. They've worked outside the country for so long within established institutions and systems. But the record of the person in the country with respect to the highest job they've ever held in the Republic is a member of the board of BWI. What experience relative to Liberia? What qualifies him for Liberia? What makes him the most qualified with respect to a political system, not a corporate system, a country, not a company, governed by laws, governed by corporate institutional guidelines and what have you? Why you think your candidate is the most qualified coming to these negotiations? So why should we not take him? Instead, we should come to negotiate. What do you say to that person? Why should we not take him?
Well, Eugene, that is my position coming on the table. I want people to respect that, and I will respect the guy who say Joseph Boakai is the best, and he's my choice. That's why we're coming on the table. People come on the table with different positions in order to find a common ground. So you don't expect me as chairman of the CPP to come and sit down on the table to discuss with people, and I don't have a position. That's my position. But let me try to debunk some of the thought that run in this country. Experience in government. What government? Since 1847. What do we have as a good example? What is the government for the last 30 years? What good so much that has happened that experience that we all agree that this country has not been governed properly. So what experience in that do we now take to be so? So if you say that we should take experience in government to be the criteria to charting a code for a new Liberia, then you are agreeing that you want somebody to take us back to where we come from. That's the first thing, because that's the issue of experience. The second thing is, I happen to be in the corporate world. It is more challenging 10 times to succeed in the corporate world than in government. Look, Eugene, let me take you as an example. As minister, I may never have liked you because you were in government. But nobody can dictate, nobody can reject the fact that when it comes to doing your work, you did a damn good job. Did I keep the job? No. Government, you don't stay long in government because you do so well. You stay long in government either because you suck up the president or you are part of a crime syndicate. It has no good basis. The government is not a system of merit. Not what we used to hear. In the corporate world in America, as a CEO, believe me, if you don't make profit, you're going to lose your job. It's performance-based. In Liberia, 80% of the government employees are flunkies. They've kept their job for 5 years, even though they have not performed. No corporate executive can keep their job for 6 months if their earning of the quarter before is not good. It's the competitive war, the corporate war. It's the war where you go there to do nothing except to succeed. Failure is not an option. In government, you can fail, you can steal, you can do anything. The only thing you need to do is to be loyal to your employer. Two different words. And so when I hear people talking about corporate experience, guess what? That is the best experience because it was not based on favor. It was not based on anything except your performance. By the way, all of the experience in government is simply because somebody favor you, you in a political party, you work hard for somebody to win an election, and you get a job. Two different things, Eugene. So I stand to say Alexander Campbell succeeded in a world where he had only one option, and that option was to succeed. If he had failed, he would never have gone as far as he did. Guess what? You can attest to the fact that there have been people in the Liberian government since they were born. Government to government, they are there. Are they really qualified? Do they really represent the best in us? No. All they do is to play politics well, support the president, suck up to the president, go and insult people, lie on other people, steal, give the president his own, and they keep their job. So we're talking about two different worlds. In Liberia, those who have actually stayed long in government should be the one that we should be afraid of. Because the truth is that no government has worked here properly. So how do you take experience in something that we all agree has been bad since the formation of this country to be the basis to make somebody a leader? I disagree with that. With that.
My second question then will be, the guy walks up the road and come back to you and say, Mr. Billity, nice. But when we go back to the people who came from Harvard, who worked with the UN, who was a professor, let's start with Ellie, let's go with Charles Taylor, let's go with Amos Sawyer, Judy Bryant, Omar Corey law professor. They will be naming all these people that came with all these degrees and all these fine-tuned accolades from the great United States again that you're talking about. This guy have turned around up the hill and came back to you and have names and have told you their qualifications. And he said to you, what sayest thou now? We've been down this road about the Harvard train, the law professor Sawyer, Harvard train Elling, the economist Taylor. They've been naming all these people that came from America, that work in the same government today you criticize as the government of the past. This guy walks back to you and says, tell me now about this man in the corporate world in America. Is he greater than the Harvard-trained economist? Was he greater than the law professor? Is he greater than the economist? I name all these people because I want you to give me a reason that he's not from the same corporate world or the same America, or he's not the same. Separate him from the others because they too stay there long and we give them the opportunity, but they fail us as you alluded to. Help us. What do you say to the guy again before he leaves?
Distinction, different route, different history, different thing. Every name you just call went to school in America and came back to Liberia and what? This man stay in America, worked the ladder of the most competitive system in the world and went to the top before retiring. Completely different. This is a gem in the scheme of things. I say to them, Alexander Cummings, he didn't go to school, graduated, and came back to Nigeria. There is not a single name he's named to me today that didn't go to America upon graduation and came back to Nigeria. He did.
No, I gave you examples, sir. Amos Sawyer was a constitutional law professor, yeah.
But are you listening to? Hey, wait.
Amos, let me make a correction. Amos never studied law.
Wait.
Never
Let me make it clear.
Law professor.
You don't know Amos Sawyer more than me. Amos Sawyer went to America, got a PhD at the age of 25, and came to Liberia.
So Amos Sawyer at no point taught anything in America. He was never a teacher or a professor.
Listen to me.
Put it that way.
No, Eugene, don't switch this around. Amos Sawyer became a professor later on in his life. Yeah. Later on in his life. That's my father. That's the man. Wait. That's the man who mentored me. Wait. That's the man who mentored me. So I know everything about him. I want you to know that. What I'm saying to you is that Alexander B. Cummings is one in a kind. He went to school like the others that you just named. Instead of coming home, the system said, this one is not going. They kept him. He rose to the ranks and file of corporate America, the most competitive system in the world, and succeeded. And there are few Liberians that you can put in that category. Liberia, what the opportunity you have is a Liberian that can measure success by the same way the people who have succeeded more than any group of people in this world, America. So what I'm telling you is that Alexander Cummings is different. Whether we like it or not, he is different. He stayed in the world. He didn't come home. He said, I'm not running home. Remember, those who came home immediately got job because education was in short supply. Staying in America was even a risk because you immediately get a job in Liberia. He took the challenge and said, this war that is so impossible to penetrate, I'm going to stay in it. I'm going to fight in it, and I would live through it. And guess what? He succeeded and became the second man in the company whose annual budget is more than our budget of 10 years. You cannot discount that person. I'm sorry.
Okay. Musa, listen to you and Fagon exchange. Your Fagon talk about experience, and you pick Cummins over GMB. Um, and you said to Fagon, we should be afraid of people who stay long, because Fagon was talking about, his experience in government versus Kumi's experience in the corporate world. And you said we should be afraid of people who stay long in the government. And you also said that we also saying to Fagon, they are thing of the past. So at this moment, Musa, are you saying that the JMB that's still long in the government, we should be afraid of JMB? They are thing of the past. So at this moment, you pick Cummins as the most experienced man who did well in America versus a GMB.
No, no. What I'm saying is, we as Liberian, we have to make a choice as to where we want to go. If governments of the past have served us well, then we should pick those with experience in governments of the past. If we wish to venture into a new future where we will pick a man who can bring new ideas and new competition and new frontier to our governance system, then we should go for Alex. It is a matter of choice that we as opposition or Liberian we make. If Liberians say Ellen government was good, Sawyer government was good, Tobo government was good, Tubman government was good, and also those with experiences in all those governments are the right people for us to run, yes, you're correct. Then Alex is the wrong person. If you are saying government after government have not served us well, have served themselves and their family and a few friends, and now we want a new Liberia where competition of ideas, where the merit system, where democracy and competition will be the order of the day, free enterprise system, then you have a man Alex Comey. The choices do not conflict. It is our choice that conflict. If you go in with Alex, then you are seeing Liberia in one direction. If you go in with Ambassador Parker, with all his experiences of the past, then you want to see Liberia, run the way it was run, which experience he has. So we have to make a choice as to what kind of government, what kind of country we seek as a people. If we are seeking a country that is going to take us back and come back now and run Liberia the way it used to be run, then you make that choice.
Musa,
if you're going to say,
Musa, is JMB is a thing of the past?
You're not going to. First of all,
the
title of this appearance is opposition unity. So I do not despise any position. I do not despise those who want Ambassador Bwaka, VP Bwaka to be the head of the opposition. I do not despise myself for saying that Alex Comey is the head. So whatever choice we make as opposition in a framework that is acceptable to all of us, I will stand by that. And the CPP will stand by that.
So who are you talking about when you say people who stay long in government, you should be afraid of them?
I was only answering, I was not talking about a specific person. Eugene was naming a litany of Liberian or legends that have passed, political legends that went to school in America and that came to Liberia and participated in government. And then I said, those government, I believe, do not represent what Liberian people want today. Liberian people want something different, something new, something that looks like the best system in the world. Someone with experience in the best system in the world is the only person who has the capacity to give you that system. And I am for opposition unity. In that process, I serve my candidate. But when we sit down,
my last question. No, my last question to you, Ken, before I bring Salimatu in there. And at this moment,
yes,
Cummings is the best option for you, not JMB.
For the CPP.
To lead the country is the best at this moment, not JMB. He's the best option for you.
Yes. I've never hit that. I have no question about that. However, I've always said, when we come together, we say, what kind of country we want? Where do we want to take Liberia? Opposition. If everything we want, we agree we want, if it is Ambassador Boakai that fit that bill, I will support that. If it is Mr. Cummings that fit that bill, I will support that bill. At this point, that is my position. I am telling you, if we want to save this country, we shouldn't take it anywhere besides taking it ahead. The best person to do that for us is ABC.
Okay, so much to come in.
Okay, we talk about moving the country forward. Everybody has their own thing that they look at and say, before I choose a candidate, I will look and see, if they support what I believe in. We talk about private sector. When people are running for office, then that when a business community can even hear their name mentioned. After they get into office, nothing happened. We need to energize the private sector. Without a vibrant private sector, we cannot rebuild Liberia. Period. You go up, you come down, you cannot rebuild it. Okay? So for all the people that have businesses out there, your entrepreneurs, your business owners, some of the things you got to be thinking about, for the past, I don't know how many years, I would just stick with the past 40 years. What did anybody now do for the private sector that we can today say, because this person did this, therefore, we have a thriving private sector today. Now you have a candidate in the race where this is his background. This is what he's good at. He's thrived in that world. I think Minister Valcon mentioned that the companies, they have to deal with their own internal rules. But a lot of major company, and the company that Mr. Cummings worked for, a Fortune 500 company, they have to not only deal with internal rules and regulation, they have to deal with government rules as well.
Thank you.
That's what moved them. They have to deal with government rule. You have the government looking at them. So they're not just operating within their private sector space, they're also operating within the government space. But I say to my people there who are working, the private sector, that's something you need to be thinking about. We need somebody right now to come and disrupt the norm, what we've been used to. We need somebody who is not a part of the same old story every day. We need somebody who, and it's no disrespect to anybody, but I always say, when people leave office, I like to hold them accountable. I don't want anybody to leave office and then I say, oh, you know what? You're lead the man or the woman, or you're leading, or I want to be able to hold you accountable. So anybody who is running in the race, I say after 12 years, we should be able to hold you accountable if you come in and you say you will do something and you don't do it. I'm part of Generation X. I didn't support Josh Weah, but it was very enlightening to see a peaceful transfer of government. I've never seen that in Liberia. I've seen it in America, but I've never seen that in Liberia until Madame turned over to President Weah. It's time for our generation to now say, you know what? We have a vision. We have 20 years vision. This is what we want to see. And whoever comes in, we need to start looking at them and saying, hey, look, when you get out of office, we're going to hold you accountable. And if anybody is willing, is able to stand the test of time, hey, stay in the race. But we need a disruption. We need something. We need a disruption for our private sector. We need to start thinking differently. We need to think outside the box. We need to stop this attitude of, oh, you didn't come here when you went to school, you stay over there, and start looking at people's accomplishment. This man was a foreigner in another country. You know, he was born in Liberia. He was a foreigner in another country. And people shouldn't stop forget that we had a civil unrest in 1979, in 1980, and then we break for a while, and then 1985, and then we break for a while. Then what? In 1989, 1990. For the past 40 years, for most of us when we were born, there's been instability. So a lot of people were forced to stay out. Let's stop this divide between the people who went to school, accomplished something, and built their life outside, and yet they want to come back and give back to Liberia. But that's one of our problems with them. We have to move Liberia forward. Other countries within West Africa, they're moving forward. They have moved forward. Some of the things they're arguing about, they're talking about, we need running water in our house. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about, we need electricity in our house. You have countries who are now saying, you know what, no, we need cheaper electricity because we have electricity in the house. So we move to another tier. We are asking for something different. Meanwhile, in Liberia, we're still begging for electricity. We're still begging for running water in homes. We're still begging for homes to have what every other home in the world should have. The basic necessity within the homes. That's what we're begging for. Okay. So when we start thinking about going to the polls this year, those are the things we need to start thinking about. We need to start thinking about who can move us forward, who has the experience, who can come in on day one, and who can move us forward. I'm very optimistic about the opposition bloc. I'm very optimistic. I look at it, I say, you know, that family fight. We fight. The one thing we as opposition just need to keep in mind that we don't need to insult each other outside of the closed door. You know, we can disagree with each other. That's how it's supposed to be. Some of us, we've lived in other countries where we see democracy work, where you have in America, same we let to compare America, you have the Republican and the Democrat. Before they go to national election, those people in the party can be fussing. They will fuss. They until they select a person to represent the party, they will fuss. So I'm very optimistic in the opposition bloc. I think that the opposition we are frustrated with the way things are going in Liberia. I think our goal is we want to see Liberia move forward further. It's just right now we are disagreeing about how we should go in it. But nevertheless, we are going to come together. I'm optimistic about it.
Okay. Listen to Conor Gray, listen to Musa, listen to Salima, to listen. This is the best I ever see the ANC making the case against AMB. The best. They are making, let me say the CPP, not ANC, not the CPP and their leader, Cummings. This is my
Kev say this is the first time you ever listen.
Thank you.
Seriously, you know why I'm saying that?
I'm sorry. I just want to let you guys know I have to run out. I have an emergency.
Your line that you said was brilliant. That we're not coming together because we want to come together to defeat. You talk about.
Kev, I beg you. I just want to say good night. I have an emergency. I just got a phone call, so I have to leave. I will be listening in, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Good night, Chairman.
Take care.
You know, making that case, you know, about why the opposition should come together, not because you want a seat, but you talk about, you know, they should have the same goal, ideology. Look at the past. Look at the past. You know, that was, it said, I want to go to Conor Gray that he will come to. Do you agree, Conor Gray, do you agree that opposition should not come together for the namesake, but they should have things in common? They should look at the past of people who stay, according to Salomon, she talked about people that 12 years back. They should look into that. And again, it's GMB is a thing of the past, and we should be afraid of people who stay long. Salomon took 40 years of people. So do you share that same idea with the two CPP people? You have your proximity to Mr. Cummings, as you said. So you share that idea that the unity party.
Jeff, I have before Conor Gray answers your question. Let me make a correction.
Yeah.
We do not disparage JNB, and we will not disparage him. When two leaders are canvassing, they actually have two different ideologies, and they represent two different positions. Expounding on yours does not mean that the other person is not good. So whatever our JNB represents, and the people who believe in that, we do have respect for those people. All we're saying is, let's narrow our views to a common view that would better or best serve our country. And whoever that fits that bill, whether it's DNB or Alice Cummings, we should take that person to lead the opposition. So we are not saying that this is good and this is bad. So sorry for that comment.
No, listen, I'm not telling you you're saying somebody bad. All you're saying, your guy is better than JMB.
I wouldn't use that word. I wouldn't use the word better.
Okay, you're saying
there are two positions.
Okay, but you're saying your guy is more experienced and qualified.
I didn't say more experience. I said there are two different experiences. The experiences are not the same. One is in the corporate world, one is in government of the past.
Let me ask you this. Before Gray come in, let me ask you this now.
Yes.
You think Cummings can take Liberia to a better place than JMB at this moment? You think Cummings is well suited to take Liberia to the next place better than JMB?
Look, I do not have the capacity to judge JNB, but I have the capacity to appraise ABC. And I know that ABC can take us to a better place right now.
But you cannot say that JMB?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, then what would be the need for opposition unity? I mean, if I say that, and if tomorrow the opposition agree that JNB is the person that we should carry, what will I be representing? What I'm saying, I'm going for opposition unity. I'm going for opposition unity, and the candidate I'm carrying on that table is Alice Cummings, and these are my reasons. If more people in the opposition agree with me, if it makes sense, it suits our country, we should choose him. If it doesn't make sense and it doesn't suit our country, then we should choose the person that it better serves or it better suits. That's my position.
Okay, got a great comment.
Gentlemen, I think the argument is far-fetched to the extent that the chairman here has a position. You know, in negotiation, there is something called WFM. What's in there for me? In this slide, I think Chairman Belte is trying to say what's in there for him is that his individual that is going to be representing at the table of negotiation is better suited to serve. And some of us who probably participated in, and in a number of peace conferences on the table. We saw how negotiation worked at first, and everybody would come on the table with equal ego. But eventually, through negotiation, people will begin to make their way. And I also say that people who are beating on multinational corporations, you would, most of us would not know that Coca-Cola has share in Firestone. When Alex Cummings took his capacity to serve Coca-Cola some 20 years plus ago, Coca-Cola was under $90 billion. Today, Coca-Cola asset, when he left it, was 270 billion. It doesn't come with just piece of cake in your mouth.
No.
If Liberia should be judged, it's like it's a failed experiment. If you have a drug, AstraZeneca, or whatever it is, that has failed in its endeavor, are you going to start talking that into patients every second, or are you going to look for an alternative that will cure people? Liberia is a failed experiment. So when you talk about managers that come from that system as the light for the future, it's
There's something wrong with that.
It's tautological. You're speaking in two tongues. Negative and positive cannot come together. It will spark fire. Okay? So when you talk about Alex Cummings coming into, as the odd man out, coming into a system that is paralyzed, that is dysfunctional, that has never worked for many, many decades. We're close to 200 years, which is a bicentennial. You have an individual coming in. Firstly, Alex's first gig is not to serve on the board. Alex worked at LBDI. That is a government entity. So let's set the record straight. This was where he started his humble beginning, and he left and came to a system. Majority of us who leave from here and run to Liberia is because we lack the capacity to compete in the system. This is where competition is. Majority of those who find themselves running to Liberia is because they can compete here. And if you can compete here and rise to the top, you have some skill that you bring into, you transferring that skill into a country like Liberia that is largely dysfunctional. So that's the added advantage Mr. Cummings brings to the table. He understands how to manage finances, and we need an asset manager. What we have in Liberia are just asset taker, people who divvy the wealth of the nation, but they're not able to effectively manage the asset that we have. We don't have much compared to Rwanda. Is the size of Buffalo County. Let me let you know. Rwanda is the size of Buffalo County. Rwanda GDP today, you understand, is probably 20 times that of Liberia. Rwanda barely has anything called natural resources.
Right.
I think it's a landlocked country. Does not even have a seaport. But Rwanda today has an asset that is almost 20 times the size of Liberia. That's because we had a president who is an asset manager. This is the experience Cummings is bringing in. I'm not bedazzling, the old man or any other individual. But when people talk about an experiment that has failed as the module to move the future, I think something is primarily wrong with their mind, or probably you just don't know what politics is. Alexandra Cummings, you understand, it's not only coming in, it's like the Joseph that was sold out into slavery and later he would turn to rescue his people. When people leave the United States and run to Liberia, it's because they have not been able to make it here. Alex stayed. He competed. He made it to the top in one of the most wealthiest organizations today. Go back and look into Liberia. Even USAID, Coca-Cola contribution to USAID that benefit most of our countryside in Liberia. You understand? Coca-Cola contribute to that organization. All over the place, just look. So if you want to think that Coca-Cola is just this water bottle, idiopathic for anybody to think that way. In fact, when people talk about Coca-Cola asset, you're talking about real estate. We're talking about some of these national stadiums you see vast across. You know, you look at the hotel management. So I know you're talking, Honorable Kev, but you're muted. So what I would say is, Alex Cummings is the odd man out who is bringing something to destabilize the system we've had that has not worked for us for so many years. And if people think that Alex is just this Coca-Cola guy, and you know, Liberians, we have a way of selling people worth. And
30
this is
seconds.
why we hurt.
30 seconds.
And you know, Chairman Bellate is hitting the point. Well, to the point. If you have two individuals coming in a negotiation, you believe that your guy is the Muhammad Ali that will win the match. So you bet based on your own cogent belief on that individual. Why promote the other individual? You don't have to denigrate them, but your interest is your guy.
Exactly.
And I think Musa is well within his right to, you know, to carry on whatever he sees. And there's some values that aligns with there's some values that align with his value, and then, you know, clearly that makes him the representative of
thank you, Rwanda population, I think, is 30 million people. 30 million.
The size, not the population. The size is Buffalo County.
Fagon,
you know that?
Come in, Fagon.
Well, I think everybody will agree that Salamatu have her whole 10, 15 is supporting Chairman Bellate, Remy Gray Kim supporting Chairman Bellate. You know, you the guy, you see, he laughing. But you see, I'm going to be the guy that is walking down the street and asking these questions. So I have asked 2 questions. I enjoy Salamatu talking. I listen to Remy Gray talking. I think I want to erect my own checkpoint as they did without asking but ability. The guy who walked past and came back to you to ask you, let me inform you, was my brother. That's how we're going to see the guy. The guy talked about Amos Sawyer, who was a research scholar at the Indiana University. The guy came back again and made you understand that not only people coming from America, but Ellen was the assistant administrator of the United Nations Development Program and director of its regional bureau for Africa. She also served with the rank of assistant secretary general of the United Nations, a post she resigned to contest 1997. You can match Kumi record with that record?
Before that, who was she in the government?
You are talking, I didn't talk.
No, I'm asking you a question. Before that, who was she under the Talbot administration?
Let him finish. That's the rule. Let him finish.
You were talking, I didn't talk. You're not interviewing me.
Hang on. I can ask you a question. This is a cross.
No, you can't.
It's a cross discussion.
You ask Bellate, you said no. So you can't ask me. I mean, let's be fair.
I said no, you should not do.
Ask Bellate a question.
You can make a statement. You can make a statement so that I can debunk it.
Yes, that's what I'm waiting for. You had a time to ask Bellate. You asked him. They mean who passed on my bucket of water?
Go
ahead. I will debunk it.
So now, I'm looking at both of them records here. And I know everyone watching now will go and dig up their records to prove that they work in the international community in high places, not low places. But they came to Liberia and we saw what happened. The second thing, in the appraisal of Cummings, he talked about when Cummings took over Coca-Cola, it was 90 billion. It rose up to 270 billion. Hey man, you're talking to us here. We are the new generation.
My friend, do the research.
CEO, sir.
Do the research.
You remain quiet when you're talking.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
You're not gonna get talk so you can give me a chance to talk.
Let him finish. Maybe I'll do this on the show today. Open a crossfire between you and Fagon. So go ahead.
You won't get any time to talk because
No,
I'm
no, no.
laying
You
this
go
thing
ahead.
in
You go ahead.
context.
No, you go ahead.
I've already set the stage that these people work in higher position, especially Ellen Kumis was no match at that international standard of a geopolitical system. And I gave her resume right here in front of me. No questions. I want to say to Colonel Iremi Gray, you said when Kumis took over Coca-Cola, everybody heard you. It was a $90 billion company. Today, Kumis, through his help, raised it to $270 billion. I'm of the opinion, you see he's shaking his head, that no, that is totally false and misleading. Coca-Cola Africa is not Coca-Cola Global. So let me tell you the guy who ran Coca-Cola. Permit me, Kev, to say to you, Roberto Crispulo Gosvieta Cantera, November 18, 1931 to October 18, 1997, was a Cuban-born American business executive who served as the chairman, president, and chief executive officer of the Coca-Cola Company from August 1980 until his death, October 1997. Fact. That fiction that somehow Kumis ran Coca-Cola and took the budget. We knew Coca-Cola and Kumis headquarters were in Nigeria for Coca-Cola Africa. I'm just erecting this checkpoint. I'm not against the leader. But if you come to serve us propaganda, then we will serve you fact. And the debate will not win because at the end of the day, no one says that this gentleman is not qualified. No one thinks that Kumi, by any measure, is a bad guy. But you have to sell your candidate in the market, in the political marketing system. And you have to do that with passion. I admit, they're doing a good job. But when we come here and say, Ellen worked in the international system here, Ellen did this, Ellen was the Harvard team, Ellen was this. And you come, you say, all the people who went to school, got a degree, they left from here, they went down there to work. We said, no, we have not given you those two facts. When you come and say, Coca-Cola owned Firestone, that was before. Yeah, Peter sitting over there, he will tell you who owned it now. That cloth hanging to the poor, we know. That the Malaysian didn't get it. What I'll say tonight is that I think they're going with the right attitude to the table, that my company, my leader is the best. My leader is the most qualified. I don't expect you guys to go to the table and say, Kumis, that second tier. No, it's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that you must come with the truth and come with the facts so that we're not asking the questions that I'm asking now, such as, he's the most qualified. We're talking about Liberia. So if we say you're the most qualified, we're talking about in terms of Liberia. He's the most experienced. You are experienced with Coca-Cola. You're not experienced with Liberian politics where related driving coming towards Cinco, motorbike speeding towards the man. Then they start the motorbike right in front of the man. They tell Belete, say, something wrong with you, eh? You don't see me coming? We're talking about the country where rape, ritualistic killings, where people steal in broad day and challenge you. We're talking about who has the experience. And last but not the least, Mr. Moderator, my question now to Ability. He and I was around when my Ellen invited Kumis to the country. And Don Kumis, with one of the nation's highest honor. Mr. Moderator, part of the reason why people think that Mr. Kumis will be a continuation of the George Weah administration is because people like myself, let me knock my chest. I strongly believe Kumis will have to distance himself because my Ellen wanted Kumis to succeed her. It didn't work. Brumskin was in the picture. She realized that they had some disagreement with Brumskin and Bwaka. She maneuvered her way. It didn't work for Brumskin. We are one, and we were supporting. Now, with Kumis coming, people feared, and this is what I want you to address. This is my question to you, that Kumis coming is another my Ellen push, that just in case President Weah does not win, Kumis must win. Why? because they fear that the corruption will be brought on the books under JMB. They fear that people will be prosecuted. I mean, robustly. They fear that a lot of things will happen. And to do that, they need a cover-up. What do you say to a man like me who can look at Kumis right in the eye and say, we know the politics. Are you with this old lady or are you coming for us? Because we believe my Ellie is going to push you because she does not want to come under the gavel of a judge. Talk to me, Billy T.
Thank you. Finally, I get to see why Eugene, you seem to be from the outside. You seem to be CD, you know, when you and the CDC are fighting, it appears as though you are winning. But let me tell you what you do, and you do it very well. You take people's statement, you turn it around, you make it a lie, and then you debunk that lie. And then you satisfy yourself by thinking that you have just debunked somebody's lie. Nobody told you tonight that Alice Cummings was the head of Coca-Cola. Nobody told you that. Not me, not Gray. We told you that Alice Cummings rose from the bottom to the top of Coca-Cola. In the top, secondly, Coca-Cola Africa is no different from Coca-Cola World. Coca-Cola Africa is a subdivision of Coca-Cola International.
Bingo!
No, let me. No, I will not allow you to. No, I will not allow you. When you are talking, I let you talk, so you will let me talk.
I'm praising you now.
I don't want your praise. Just listen to me. When you talk the way you talk, you send a signal as though Alice Cummings ran a company called Coca-Cola Africa that is different from Coca-Cola International. That is misinformation, and you are very deliberate in doing that. And therefore, you come out to appear like you have debunked something that is not factual, and that's not what we said. That's number one. Number two, the issue of you call Ellen name, you call all the names that you call, and you call Alice Cummings. Again, we are saying in the corporate world, if you didn't hear it, none of these people were in the corporate world. The United Nations is not a corporate world. The United Nations is an international organization owned by the United Nations that makes decisions 100% based on politics, and you know that. People are put in position where 100% based on politics, and you know that. That's not a corporate world. And therefore, you cannot come here and bring Eleni and say, well, I'm trying. No. The experience of Alice Cummings is unique in our body politic, and I repeat, he succeeded in corporate America, retired with honor, and therefore he is distinct. Because in corporate America, when you fail to produce profit in a quarter, not in a year, in a quarter, you pay for it. The United Nations can go burst, the World Bank can go burst. People at the assistant director level, they've got nothing to fear. In fact, remember, those organizations, they hire you with contract where the right to remove you is not simple. In the corporate world, they hire you and say on day one you can be fired if you don't perform. So again, every time we bring the argument of coming, you bring a comparison that does not match it, and will not let you get away with that tonight. Alexander Cummings succeeded in a corporate world, a world that demands result, or else you pay for it with your job. That's different from the United Nations, that's different from the World Bank, that's different from the IMF. I'll say that. The other point I want to make to you is that you talk about Ellen and you know Alexander Cummings and whether Ellen is bringing Alexander. Hey, George Weah, your president, is not even bold enough to attack Ellen. Joseph Boakai and his supporters are coming. Joseph Boakai and his supporters have never told you that the Ellen government was bad or something bad happened in it. That coming waiting for to say that? No. Joseph Boakai was vice president for Ellen. He needs to tell us at some point in time whether he's going, when he becomes president, he's going to continue the way he and Ellen were running the country, or he's going to do it differently. That omen is not on Cummings. That omen is on VP Boakai. Let me make that very clear. The third thing is, you asked me, what was your question again?
You see, I got waiting for you. My first
I'm
question
going to ask
is,
you.
what do you say to people who say
Yes.
to you, Ma Ellen is going to support, is pushing Cummings for the presidency, just like she did with President George Weah, who has refused during the last 6 years to use her own audit to prosecute her people. She's now pushing Cummings to defeat, and then so that Cummings can cover her and her past government as well as the Weah government. What do you say?
No opposition leader have said in this country besides Alex Cummings that when he become president, he will prosecute people. Alex Cummings has said it. He has said it and over again. Liberia have had government over government. The 12 years of Ellen is distinct as compared to the years before and the years after. It is better than the year before it and the years after it. I stand to be corrected. Alex Cummings is not a candidate of Ellen. Ellen is not the one that makes president. If that's what you think, then why is Joseph Boakai then not going to hard to be? I don't think so. I don't think anyone in the opposition believes that Ellen is the one who makes president for this country. I think that's a fallacy. I think Ellen has moved on. She became president. I think she has succeeded. We've had a peaceful transition of power, and she is where she is. And there is nothing in the policy of Alex Cummings that says that it's a continuation. Why you want to be unfair? It is not Ellen party. 50%, no, 80% of those who supported Joseph Boakai are former Ellen officials. So why are you leaving the whole United Party and coming to us to say that Alex Cummings is an Ellen? And we don't despise Ellen. I just told you, we have had 3 regimes, one before her, one after her. Her is the best of the 3. And we ask them by that record. But what I'm
So let me
telling
ask
you,
my final question now. My
yeah,
final question to you is, you talk about this corporate executive understanding the business world, understanding what it means for the private sector to succeed. My final question to you, over the last 6 years, I did not say during Ellen time when he came. Over the last, because Ellen time, everything was rosy. We didn't see it. But just the last 6 years, what investment opportunities? And I'm doing this thing to help you for tomorrow. My late brother passing, he came back to you, he said, Chairman Belete, over the last 6 years, your man from the corporate world, what investment opportunities has he created for us, for which we should believe that when they may come in to ask you, you'll be asking the man, ready? This is what you're going to face. If you're not prepared for it, Chairman, you got to step aside. But the people will ask you, show us the because I know you're coming to tell me the government did not allow the opportunity. Then that's fair answer. The people listening, this ball comes back to you and say, for the last 6 years. Show me what investment opportunities have this great leader of yours created for us. Name the companies or name the factories or the plants, the manufacturing plants. Chairman, the last 6 years, give me a reason to believe that this man will bring us investment. Show us what he's brought over the last 6 years. Manufacturing plants, factories, companies, etc.
When you run a corporation, when you make decisions, you call it rational thinking. When you want to make a decision of investment, you don't make it to gain political score. The environment have to be fit for investment. The first and foremost requirement is for the mayor to say, this place, there is law and order, there is a system of accountability, there is transparency, that when I put my money, it's going to give me the result that I want. Otherwise, I don't have trust in the system. I want to help my people, but I will not do it through investment. That's why we have the Alice Cummings Foundation, which he continued to use to give to Liberians, students, different organizations of different people, because to bring investors, they don't look at the profit first. They look at what they call the business environment. There's an index in the world that every year there's an evaluation of the environment of the business environment in the country. Your country is falling off that chart every year. And for people like Alice coming to do their investment, it got to be followed by insurance. When the insurance look at Liberia to say, hey, this is where you're going to invest so that when you lose your money, you come to me to pay you, no way. So there's nothing that satisfies. And you see, that's rational thinking. Alice Cummings would have, if you wanted to be political, he would have opened a cold water factory and then you go down. He said, hey, see, the big, no, it doesn't work like that. And that's how he's going to run the country. He's going to run the country that he's not going to say Eugene Fagon was on Spoon Network spewing venoms at me and saying I'm not qualified, so I'm not going to put him there. He's going to ask a question. As a propagandist, is he good? And believe me, I'm going to be there to say, yes, he's damn good. Because propaganda can turn truth into lie. He can make things to look rare. Even though it's white, he can make people to believe that it's rare. Eugene, there's nobody in the country that can do that better than you. That one you try to pull on me. So I know that. So at the end of the day, that is vintage Alice Cummings. He will not make a decision based on emotion and sentiment. He will say, I want to invest in Liberia. What are the environment? What are the business environment? If I get credit, what kind of system do I have to collect my credit? What if I want government lesson? Where I have to bribe an official to get it? He will assess everything. And guess what? People are coming there, don't put their money in places unless it meets certain requirements.
Okay, Musa, let me step in because Fagon will ask you.
I'm even surprised that he's stepping in late.
I wanted for you to do some. I love the cross. But let me say this. What Fagon was saying, because you're saying that.
So move on opposition unity now.
No, you're saying that Cummings, his corporate experience. So Fagon was telling you about Ellen, but Ellen was vice president at Citibank. She in 1981 she moved to Nairobi, Kenya, as the African regional office. She was the vice president for Citibank. So she worked in the World Bank. So she got a lot of corporate experience. what I'm understanding that corporate experience never bears for Liberia.
But that's not true. I just told you with what you say about Ellen. If you compare her government to your government and the government before her, it's 10 times better. And that's the point I'm making. You know what? With all the other experiences, with the corporate experience,
so if you make that argument, if you're making the argument now, then because Joe Boakai worked under Ellen, if that government was 10 times better, so why Liberian people should choose Cummings?
No. Are you saying?
You just said the Ellen government was better 10 times, and the vice president running. So I think, so why Cummings cannot just give way and let the man who learned under Ellen that was 10 times better to run?
Because the vice president, no, you asked me a question. Because both Vice President Boakai and clearly the way our constitution, Vice President Boakai have never said that he played any role in the Ellen government. You and I know that. And I'm coming. The individual we're trying to elect has to show what did they do. Not just because you were in Ellen government. So anything Ellen government did, you know, first you must even be prepared to identify with the Ellen government. That's the first thing. Then secondly, you must identify your specific performance in the Ellen government.
So if you're saying that the Ellen government better, they did well. So are you separating the Ellen government success from JMB? Are you separating that? You will say JMB should come
that's up to JMB, not up to me. As far as I'm concerned, in 2017 and through all this period, I've not seen the connection. Remember, then Ellen was expelled and all those things. If VP Boakai is going to say that what happened in Ellen government, that he and Ellen did it, then he will bring that to the table. You understand? And then we will decide whether it is what the Liberian people want, a continuation of, or something different and something new as Cummings is proposing. But that is not my decision to make. I don't speak for VP Boakai as far as the United Party is concerned. So whatever happened, again, if you are in the government, it's always good to say, I got my role, I played my part, I was this person, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. And then we'll take that and package it and say, this man was in this government, he did so much, and he has a good record, and therefore he should be our president.
I don't know, Fagon, if they answer your question, because he is going to Gray said that.
Oh, you're going to Fagon for help now?
No. I'm just saying, I don't know if
he was trying to get you, but you had already said that Ellen administration before and after is the best, no debate. But the second in command of that administration is the one running. So I got no further question. Meaning, Ability have said that best administration can be credited to the team. It's a teamwork. And now JMB.
But Eugene, can the teams can the Unity Party say that it was a teamwork? So that becomes another debate. Can they own up to the successes? You know, because it will change the dynamic of the debate.
Well, one person cannot run a government.
No. But you are saying, no, you cannot contradict yourself. You are saying that if I say that Ellen government was better than the government before it, then I'm saying that Joe Boakai is okay. I'm saying to you,
put it after it.
Before and after.
Yes.
This government and the government before Ellen government.
Yes.
So what I'm saying to you now is, I'm the one who's saying that. But you have to go to the UP and the vice president to say everything that happened in the government, our party. And all the good things, I take responsibility. all the bad things are taken. That's not for me. I've given you my verdict on that government. And I've told you, listen, something may not be even a score of 50%. It's still better than a score of 25%, a score of 20%. So the fact that I'm saying Ellen was better, it doesn't mean that Ellen was 100%. It just means that the government before Ellen and the government after Ellen are just too bad. You understand? So the point I'm making to you is that you now have to burden United Party to say, United Party, today, can we hold you accountable for the performance, whether good or bad, of the government, of your previous government? That's not for me to answer. No.
And my debate to you is, once you told me that that government is the best compared to the one before and the one after, I know one person cannot run a government, neither two or three. But there is a number one person and a number two person. And today, the number two person says, better say the government before and the government after was the best. I was the number two man in that government. Now I want to be number one. Any question?
That debate was over in 2017. The United Party did not stand with its own record in 2017. So therefore, it cannot own it today. And I guarantee you that it has no plan to own it. So I cannot attribute it. If it is the United Party policy of Ellen that VP Barker want to pursue, let us say it. And like I said, that debate will be different. We'll have a different discussion.
Let me go to Conor Gray.
We'll have a different discussion.
Let me go to Conor Gray. Conor Gray, I want to know if you agree with Musa. Musa Ability is saying that there is nothing in the Ellen government that he's praising that resembles Buckeye. Nothing. He said the case was settled 2017. Do you agree?
No, I think the attempt by the Honorable Joseph Buckeye to distance himself from the miseries of the administration they ran prior to the Weah administration was a dismal mistake. You cannot cherry pick the good ones and then throw the bad ones away. You can't. When we say 66 concessional agreements were signed and later proved to be bad, you say, no, I was just an observer there. You tend to distance yourself, remove yourself, and pluck yourself back into the argument. And I agree with Honorable Ability on the fact that the two administration prior and after the administration of Madam Sirleaf clearly served the people of Liberia well. But where the problem comes in with Ambassador Buckeye, number one, there are so many things wrong at the facelift. Firstly, I still believe that if you pick up the phone at 3 a.m. to get Ambassador Buckeye as president of the Republic of Liberia, you will have a hard time getting him. There are so many reasons why. I'm not gonna. You just look. That's why we say this is a physical job. The job of a president. You need somebody who can run the mountains, someone who can juggle within rugged terrains, an individual who has the capacity to wake up and make decisions right away. No room for sluggishness, especially for a country like ours. Now, you have an individual with all kinds of problems. And we know folks who are pushing the ambassador are saying it just like how George Weah people told him, don't worry, just win the election. We'll be there for you. We'll provide the brain, okay? And we see where that has led us to as a republic. My fear is, unless you have a replacement of those kind of mindset, we're going to run back into probably the worst, dead end in our country. And every time you add years to our country, some of us will not see the future that we desire. So I agree with the Honorable Chairman Musa. The thing is, what do we have to prove that the system that will take after Mr. Weir will be better than even the past that the ambassador represents? You understand? That's my fear. That's why we say there are three divisions within this future we're talking about. Either you go back to the past of Ambassador Buckeye, or you come to the present of, Ambassador Weir, or you go look forward to a brighter and brand new future under Alex Cummings. I know exactly how the two, I can judge the two. We just don't know how the future would be like. But we know definitely with the record of Alex Cummings, the future should even be better. No one counts on their past. The bright and most promisable moment of your time is the future. And there where Alex, lied. That's what we're saying.
But Grace, some would say that Mr. Cummings has not been tested yet in Liberia. His first test, some would say he failed. The CPP. He failed his first test in the Liberian setting, other than the setting at Coca-Cola, which were fixed over I think Coca-Cola over 200 years of that. In that setting, that it is kind of like an autopilot setting. You go there, everything is there. Versus a setting of the CPP, which he failed. Some would say the first test he failed it.
What?
Let me
correct you. No.
Before Ambassador,
Alexander Cummings tell you as chairman of the CPP is the most successful period. He led the CPP to the great victory of 2020. I will not even let you end that statement.
But through his tenure, you
have to admit that though. Because all the noise about CPP great, it was under Alexander Cummings. Senators that we produced the great victory of 2020. It was under him.
Yeah, but some would say his first test at handling the framework document, it end up being court.
Kev. No, because Kev, I know you don't want us to talk about. You wrote your own topic. Because you know now that the topic we have, we want to discuss how the opposition going to unite. Then you going back. I don't know you going there.
No, Musa, you're pretty sure Mr. Cummings is the guy that the new Jesus Christ coming to save the country because he put
his
thing up there. But
he's not Jesus Christ. He's not Jesus Christ, but he's the guy that can save this country.
To handle a legal document and not being in failure.
All you want to do right now, is to get an opposition person name, insult them, tell you how I feel about them, so you can enjoy that process. You will not have that tonight. Let's talk about opposition.
Well, Kefa-san, let me come in here.
It's not your time. It's not your time, by the way.
Go ahead. Look, I have the liberty. I have the
this idea that
go ahead, Colonel Gray.
This idea of agreement, document tampering was debunked in the court when the guy was exonerated as.
I don't even know what country he's coming from. When the case was coming out,
as inculpable. So that so-called test, because based on ramp up allegation that was later debunked at the court level, we can't even hold that as
exactly.
Right the tag because it's not.
And it was decisive. The case was decided. The government said that there's no case.
Yeah, and so clearly, Alex Cummings is a guy who, number one, he has withstood the tempest of time to show that he's a guy you can waver him in from all directions. He's still going to be there, and that is what. Unlike some people
and collected.
Yes, unlike some people after the 2017 election, they came down with some heart problem. You don't want that, because the presidency is something where people are going to be boxing you from all angles. You need that tough guy that will stay in the middle, regardless when the storm is shaking the boat. You know, there's this commander on board.
The way you gonna make this country now, the way you gonna ruffle up this country, we need a strong leader, but we need a calm and collected leader that is always measured and ready to work and make decisions on the go. And that man is Alice Cummings.
Wow, you suddenly some heavy punches on JB tonight. Calm, collected, and Conor Gray saying we don't need a sluggish. Wow. You guys are really some heavy punches going on the Unity Party. I think you guys be in business now.
No.
Let's go. You finish. I want to come back to Fagon because I want to come back to Fagon because I don't know Fagon. I see the ANC guys, man, the CPP guys. Let me just say ANC, CPP guys are coming with some heavy. Mike Tyson knockout tonight on JMB. They use the word sluggish. What you made of that, Fagon? You muted.
In the marketplace of ideas, political parties or leaders will come to sell their platforms, their ideologies. People like the chairman and Conor Remy Gray will come out to sell their candidates. And I think they've done a good job tonight trying to sell their candidate. Let's see if the Unity Party people will come to sell the old man. But equally so, I can be fair to say Billy already helped the old man. He sold the old man 25% of the way by saying that the past administration did a good job before. Ellie did a good job before her and did a massive job compared to the party after her.
You don't even have the ball to acknowledge that, I can promise you.
Well, the thing about it is, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had a government. She ran a government. And if her government was better than the government before her and the one after her, you made a point. You say, why does she
don't you know that? Eugene, don't you know that?
That's not for me to say now.
No. But you don't know that?
Even if I knew it, I won't say it now.
Okay. Thank you. It's okay. That's for me, that's a yes. Let's go.
No, it can never be a yes because you see,
it is a yes. But let's say A if you know A or you don't know A. You don't know it's better than this government?
Part of the mistake we made, we tried to put down the one guy that will let us support tomorrow. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play the game because I already know the questions that will be asked. For example, we were on this network. Everybody said JMB left-hander. But you know, that the same left hand he was using to wave to the crowd today, putting his face up today.
Look.
So again,
those who talk about JMB health, it's not the CPP. Those are despicable people. We are not part of those people. We don't do politics like that. We are not that dirty. We do not get into when you're, look, a child can be born with heart problem. A child can be born sick. A child can die less than, there are more children dying today than even adults. So it doesn't matter when you get sick or when, now.
So you see, I know for a fact that if I chose to represent Alexander Cummings, I'm not going to dig a hole for him right now that I cannot defend. And even if I dug one, I can defend it because I'm trained to that. To dig the hole
I don't dig hole.
To dig the hole and put a sand right side of the hole and sit down beside it. Any movement you make, I can close it back. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. I may choose Joseph Boakai. Or even the judge we had fought for the last, I think, 4 months. I'm able to cover his holes. So I'm not going to...
Oh, you've been fighting him?
Oh, I've been fighting him power.
Oh, I know that.
But that's something for player. I dressed the devil and brought the devil outside. Then the devil said, all the children, they want you to put food on the fire.
Usually you just crying to go home. By the time the book call you, go home. So
to go home to what team?
Kev, you call the man.
Chairman, no, wait, Chairman Belete.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please accept this fact for me.
Yes.
I was fired, I think, June 24th, 2021.
Yes.
Where are we now? We are in 2023, few months to elections.
Yes.
And they kind of job they'll go call you for where you got to go for Senate confirmation. You finish, then they got to arrange your check. You finish, then no. Let's just stay.
No, but you can get something else. Yeah, you don't have to.
I don't want nothing.
In fact, you can get what you do best.
But tell me why you won't give me job? Why you won't give me job in the government and you say it's not correct?
Because I know that what you craving for. By the time they call you,
I will crave for the team finished already. How you don't crave for your own team? The team already I play.
Eugene, that recording here tonight, I will play the people this year.
The people government and they depending on the Liberian people to elect them. That the one you can crave for, when the food finish for in the pie, when late part. I don't do that. From the 21st to the 23rd, we got 8 more months to go.
No, 7 months.
I carry it upset. That the kind of job you want to give me,
7
after
months,
confirmation, everything, after the structure of my check, and maybe when check delay, I take one for 2 pay. No. I don't want the job. But what I'm saying to you is this. There will be lots of defenses coming up for either Cummings or for JMB.
Yes.
On the other hand, everybody will sell their candidates.
Correct.
But this is the statement I will make to you. I've said it on this platform and kept it my witness. Unless something dramatic happens, a Cummings Boaka ticket will be formidable with Cummings as second. I said it. So don't beat me for my opinion just like you had your opinion. I said the only pathway to the presidency for Mr. Cummings is through Boakai. And there was a reason why I said it. I will say it again. Because if Cummings comes with these managerial skills and all the help he has to do, and nobody got numbers in the bank for JMB to say, oh, I get 400,000 votes, and Cummings said no. But a Cummings Boaka ticket is a first round victory. I don't care what order it comes in. But to Mr. Cummings, I say, your chances of leading this great nation is to go right under the old man. Maybe 2 years from now, the old man say, Ataya, your team go. Your fellow Cummings. It is the best route. Any other route, if the old man takes another person, I'm saying it to be on record. Mr. Cummings will come 3rd or 4th. I'm saying it, that's my opinion. And what's going to happen for 2029 is going to create that hurt.
Let me ask this question quick.
Let me finish. You see,
No.
Captain afraid of a Cummings Boaka ticket. They kept me see so. A greatest fear in life. Kev can even climb Lepo and jump from there. But as soon as he hear Boaka and Cummings ticket, he say, oh, they're talking. So I just hope they will continue to talk, as Remy Gray and you say. They will continue to remain engaged, even if they have to go their separate ways. I'm sure at some point the Liberian
Eugene, I have a question. Eugene, I have a question for you. Just before I answer. Just before I answer, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Based on the historicity of the office of the vice president, starting with Charles Taylor, to Ellen Sirleaf, and to George Weah, what is the relevance of a vice president?
Thank you very much. The vice president in any country is the special deputy to the president, but more so the head of the Liberian Senate. You and I know that place.
No. Yeah, I asked you a question, Joe. Let me ask the second question. In those 3 regimes I named, which one of the vice president that you know played the role that you just mentioned?
Very good question. The question is, which one of them?
Yes. All the three regimes that are just named, including your current regime.
None.
Thank you. Do you agree?
Okay.
Yes.
Me, I answer my question straight because I know you're giving me a chance to back up my answer.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
All right, let me say this to you. And I don't care what anybody says. The fact is the fact because I know you know the fact. Conor Remy Gray were not there, but you and I were there. President, we are our president. But the man who ran the day-to-day affairs of the government was Nathaniel Fallow McGill. I defy anybody to come with a counter debate. And in a Joe Boakai, Alexander Cummings administration, given who Boakai is, and given the energy of Cummings, given Boakai experience with dealing with the political system, and getting Cummings experience with dealing with the international communities and the business world, it is fair to say that the man who will run the day-to-day activities of a JMB Cummings government will be Cummings. I can tell you that for a fact.
Thank you, Eugene. Thank you for making my case. Thank you for telling me that even though you want Joseph Boakai and Cummings to run, but you believe that it is Cummings that will run the government. And on that basis,
did you ask me why?
No. I don't want to ask you why. I just want to thank you for making my case that your version, your vision of a Boakai Cummings ticket is a ticket that even though Boakai will be ahead of it, but the government will be run by Cummings.
Because
therefore,
cannot win.
Therefore, your only reason for Cummings and Boakai to go is because you believe that Boakai is popular.
And we say for that.
No. I respect your position. I don't want to thank you. I respect your position. I don't want to thank you for acknowledging in this public space that Alex Cummings is better served to save the country. Thank you. I just want to tell you all the things you're talking. I don't want to thank you for acknowledging that Alexander Cummings is best to run the country.
Let me say this to Chairman.
Yes, I appreciate you.
You know, certain factors contribute to a candidate being elected. You cannot debate that. And I am telling you today, the best pathway to the Liberian presidency for Cummings is through Joe Boakai. Because
you're not. Listen to me. You're not saying the truth. No. You have made a very good point by saying that Cummings is qualified. Nobody has ever been on a CDC ticket. There has never been any representative. There has never been any representative or senator on CDC ticket that is popular. It is the CDC logo that wins the election, just as the CPP logo wins election. And therefore, if we put a qualified Cummings on a CPP ticket, we will be president of Liberia.
You will let me finish today now. Please, I beg you, Papa.
Okay.
I will say again, Liberian people, listen to me. The only pathway to the presidency for Alexander Cummings is through Joseph Boakai. Why?
Man.
You put let me finish. You came me today. Oh. You put Cummings in Lofa, he can't win. You put in Nima, he can't win. You put in Bong, he can't win. You put in Amagibi, he can't win. Carry him Basso, he can't win. Take it to the Western region, he can't win. So it's not whether he qualify, got money, can he win? In Liberian politics, what are the factors that contribute to you winning? He needs Joseph Boakai to lead the pathway to his future leadership. Anything apart from that, he's zero.
Let me disprove you. Let me disprove you. Alexander Cummings, as head of the CPP, went to the length and breadth of this country to campaign for all CPP candidates as chairman of the CPP. Because the opposition were together.
Original CPP, please.
You will not distort. Listen, you will not distort the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that when opposition get together and put competent leader, they will succeed. Alexander Cummings perfectly, competently managed the CPP in an election that defined the CDC. No election has hurt the CDC equal to the midterm election. They have never recovered from it. It was Alex Cummings that led that victory. You understand? Liberian people look at that logo, CPP, and voted for CPP. They pass.
With 4 parties on it.
Yes. Yeah. I agree with that. And that's
But
what
20
we're saying
parties
today.
gone now.
Wait. That's what I'm saying to you today, that we're trying to bring the opposition together, but
Now
not
you're
individual.
talking. Don't be playing
Opposition. Wait. I'm trying to tell you that opposition unity is important, but it does not tie to individual. The symbol is more important. The symbol is more important than the name. The representative and the senator that you people have put, some of them completely incompetent, that have been on CPP ticket, have never won, CDC ticket, have never won because of their name. They have never won because of their name. They have only won because of that symbol, CDC.
That's true.
Okay? So when you put an organization together, an institutionalize it, and you select a leader, believe me, whoever that leader is, the Liberian people will choose that person. And Alice Comey at the corporate war is proving at CPP. Of all the political leaders that had the CPP, his tenure.
We're running out of time now.
His tenure was the best. His tenure was the best.
Mm-hmm.
His tenure was the best. He gave us victory under his leadership. All the glories of the CPP came. He did that. And when he left, the whole thing collapsed.
Okay.
All right.
And then
Honorable
see what's
Kev, let me interject a little bit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we make our position and marry to that position, like, matrimonial, relationship. Kev, in my opinion, Eugene Fangon is making an opinion that he is married to already, and so you cannot move to divorce. That which the mind and the brain has put asunder can never be separated. So he's hog up to his opinion. But let me draw a parallel to what he's thinking. In 1996, when Charles Taylor came, the first person he reached out to be his running mate was Madam Sirleaf. It's like David going to face Goliath. In politics, the number of days from now to October, you understand? It's like it's unpredictable. You can never say never. The fact about the matter is, Alex Cummings is making his case. When Madam Sirleaf won election, no, listen.
I'm not cutting you off. I want you to use this as a closing. So let's do it. Done.
So for most time, I was a spectator.
I know. Let's use this as a closing.
It wouldn't hurt me if I become spectator again. But I'm saying that when Madam Sirleaf won election, she was one of the most unpopular people. Nobody saw her coming. You understand? And this idea that the best pathway to the presidency for Cummings is through Ambassador Bokar is a mindset that people have married to. I would tell you, between now and October is a long time for some people in election. And if you think that people cannot, the electorate will not look at the differences in a short time, you just believe that this mindset that without Ambassador Bokar, Cummings' future is bleak. I can tell you that go back and look at Madam Sirleaf, where she came from to win election. One of the most unpopular people. She won that election. She went on to win the second election. You understand? And if you give her a third election, she might win. Liberian people will tussle with you because it's name recognition. I agree. But you know what? There are so many variables involved. To just hold up to this thing that unless you go with Ambassador Bokar, I wouldn't even want to associate myself with the past, knowing that was what gave us the CDC today. If you go back and begin to hook up to that past, thinking that that's your pathway to the future, you already make mistake. I was one of the very first individuals that said, no, Alex Cummings, you should not have joined a CPP. The fact is, Those individuals are the relics of our politics that brought us to where we are today. But they went in anyway, and they proved themselves that certain individuals are just undesirable. Why go to bed with them in the first place? So, in my opinion, what I'm looking forward to now to close is that let us have this binary agreement or this Good Friday agreement that if I make it to the second round, would you support me? That is where we are. But those two can never come back together. If you think that Alex and Ambassador Buckeye will come back in an arrangement that will put one up, one down, I think you're making a mistake, in my opinion. Because the fact is, let them go to the election. That's how David won Goliath. Go there. This is, you don't come to a playing field and thinking that we're all opposition, yet one person is less opposition than the other. The CPP is as equal to Joseph Buckeye as they are equal to to President Weir. So they're all in this together to win. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Musa, can you just do your closing?
Yes, thank you. I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to Kev and Eugene for trying. I think I know you guys' strategy. I think you guys are aware that the Liberians don't want to go back, and when you put yourself against the opportunity for Liberians to go into the future or to go back, you know that they will not choose to go back. And at the end of the day, in the opposition, all of the parties will come together, and whatever the path is, as long as we have agreed that this is what we're looking for in the president, we believe whoever that bill fits, the opposition will unite that person, they're behind that person. I think if we want not a popular government, the Liberian people have told us in 2020 that if we get together and choose good leaders to stand by us, they've given us a chance to choose quality above quantity. We need to do that. And when we sit down in the room and come to that position, our position is the CPP, the opposition should be led by Mr. Cummings, and Vice President Barker should provide a running mate, running mate to Cummings, and then allow them to run and take the role of an elderly statesman for all of us to run the country. That is our position. That position, as a state, is the CPP position. That's what we're taking to the table. We will welcome other people. There's the NDR. There's a Rainbow Coalition. There are other people. There are other politicians that we're talking to. We'll take everybody's position and put it on the table. When we reach to that table, we'll make a decision that is in the interest of the country, not in the interest of each individual, and we'll present a ticket. Alternatively, we can go back to 2017 that led to the CDC winning. There was something in Ganta they called the Ganta Declaration. When the opposition went to Ganta and pledged to ensure opposition victory, we are committed to this to that too. If putting them together is not possible, then let us come and make a commitment to Liberian people that we will not attack each other, that our only objective would be the CDC government, and that which one of us win to the second round, we all will go behind that person. We're also prepared and willing for that, because we believe that the person that works hardest is the person that Liberian people will respond to. To sit in Monrovia and think that the Liberian people have made a choice is a fallacy. I know that 60% of the people who are going to go to vote have not decided who they're going to vote for. If you work hard, you will get a good share of that vote. CPP is ready for that. So any form of opposition unity, we are for it. It doesn't always have to be a united ticket. It can be a united purpose. We can have a united purpose We can make sure we don't attack each other during campaign. We can make sure we coordinate our rallies and campaign events so that it doesn't coincide with each other. And we can agree and sign a public declaration that whoever makes it to the second round, we will support that person. We're committed to all of that as part of opposition unity. Thank you, guys. Thank you tonight. And I really enjoyed the program. It was good. Gray, it's nice meeting you. I've been following you, but it's our first interaction. And I'm happy that there's someone here to put Kev in check. And Eugene, up to now, I don't know what side you're on really. It's causing. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But thank everybody for coming.
I am a chameleonic politician right now.
Thank everybody. Good day. I see Baron. Baron, I'm telling you in this public manner, if you keep putting all kind of comment on my Facebook, I will block you. I'm telling you now, I finish warning you. I will not want you again. Thank you and have a pleasant night.
Okay, Musa. Thank you, Musa. But Minister Fagon, let's do a quick. If you can do at least under 2 minutes, so the guys can go home.
I'll do it even 1 minute 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Let me say this. I think you listen to Chairman say they're looking forward to Uncle Joe appointing somebody to serve as VP to Kumis. You know what that sounds like to me? Like what Colonel Remy Gray said, that the mind is already married. I wish he knew that Belete was going to say this, that they are already married to the fact that Kumis must be the head of the ticket, and in a collaboration, Omen Boaka can now decide whether he will send Nyombli, Jeremiah Kun, or Gonglo to be his vice. Then he, Boaka, that got the real vote, sit down and be the elderly statesman. You know, like I said, you can't get mad at them. Everybody got to sell their candidate. But when I say to Alexander Kumis that your only pathway to the presidency is through Omen Joe Boakai, I mean it from the depths of my heart, because I've been in this thing for 38 years and I know how it works. This is not a playbook I haven't seen before. In order to get to that point, you will have to ride this wave. If you don't ride this wave, you're doomed. Because we only take 2 persons to the second round if there is a third. And if you sit down and allow this old man to take, for example, either Nyombli with the Bassa belt or Prince Johnson with the Nimba votes, my friend, you are wasting your time and resources, because you have to look at how our people vote. They vote on religious lines. They vote on tribal lines. They vote on geographical lines. If I'm from Lofa, Kude from Lofa, you think who I will follow? I follow my Lofa brother because it's only there for me. It's only there for him, it's there for me. Our people vote along those lines and many other reasons. Economic reasons, financial help. You, Brother Alexander Kumis, you go to Lofa the Poli, JMB. If JMB take Kunde Nima Poli, Lofa and that man is 400,000 votes right away. Lofa and whoever he takes from Nimba. If he adds Bong to it, which is most likely going to happen because of the Pele lineage to Lofa, that's 600,000 votes. Where are you going with the Bassa belt and all these people? So again, I think Alexander Kumis, if he really wants to be president and help Liberia, needs to consider that I need to ride a train to get to the bus station. And that train is none other than JMB. And I'm telling him the truth. I've never spoken to him before. He never gave me 5 cents before. He and I have never had an interaction. But I have sat for 38 years and just been in Liberian politics, digging and digging and digging. And if he doesn't seize this opportunity, you'll never get it again. And that is a fact, not a fiction.
Okay. I want to say thanks to everybody. This debate will continue tomorrow. The team will be here. So I just want to say thank you to to everybody. So for the sake of time, I will not add anything. Thank you, Colonel Gray, for coming. James, Jim, and Brown, thank you for you guys taking your time and to be. I know it's late on your side, so have a good night, and let's end the show.
Gentlemen, those of you wives, happy Valentine.
Oh, tomorrow, yeah, happy Valentine.
Because Jim Good Flomo is already napping. Have a good night, my man. We'll continue the debate. Thank you, Jefferson. Have a good night.
Well, this is how I'd love to come to the end of our broadcast. The invitation is yours to join us tomorrow by the grace of God. Do have a God bless day for another splendid edition of the program, Spoon Talk. Good night.